He was arrested. His house and all of his possessions were confiscated. He was stripped of his garments and hanged between two palm trees. He was lashed with a scourge and with a board of wood. It is said that one of those hits were enough to make a man fall into a coma. But yet, while being tortured and bearing the pain of prolonged lashing sessions, history recorded these luminous golden words coming out of him. By Allah, if one of those Shi'a personalities were hidden under my foot, I would not have lifted it, even if it gets amputated. He remained in the prisons of Harun for 17 years, under severe torture for 17 years, remaining strong upon his beliefs and firm. And when Harun, may the curse of Allah be upon him, imprisoned and killed Imam al-Kadhim, peace be upon him, the seventh Imam of the Shi'a, Imam 𝗦𝗨𝗥𝗕𝗦𝗧, he released Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr, assuming by releasing him that the Shi'as will never uprise nor voice a rejection, since he has killed the leader of the Shi'as at the time, which was Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. He thought that لن تقوم للشيعة قائمة, that the Shi'as will never uprise. Why? Because Imam al-Kadhim, peace be upon him, was going to revolt against this tyrants. He was organizing a rejection. This is what led Harun al-Abbasi, may the curse of Allah be upon him, to bring forward Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr and to question him and to interrogate him until he tells him the names of the companions of Musa, peace be upon him, of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam. So after he killed and poisoned Imam al-Kadhim, peace be upon him, he released Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr. He said, I don't need him anymore. The Shi'as have fallen weak since I have killed their leader, so I will release him. And when he was released, he had nothing. Helpless. All of his possessions had been seized. A wealthy man that lost everything for the sake of Ahlul-Bayt alayhim as-salam. And after 17 years, suddenly a man approaches him and gives him 10,000 dirham. There you go, O Ibn Abi Umayr. This is the amount of money you have lent me 17 years ago, and today I come back to pay it to you. Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr asks, how did you manage to collect this amount? Which is mustahab to ask. It is mustahab to ask someone who is in debt to you and he has come to pay back the debt. It is mustahab to ask him, how did you manage to collect this money? Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr asks, how did you manage to collect this amount? Did you collect this amount through inheritance? Did you collect it as a gift? The man replies, no, I have sold my house where I lived to repay my debt to you. This is the rank that Ibn Abi Umayr had to the people, where one would sell his house where he lived, family, kids, he would sell his house in order for Ibn Abi Umayr to get his money back. And this person is just a business partner of Ibn Abi Umayr. He's not a companion of the Imams alayhim salam, nor is he a companion of him. He's just a man who took money from Ibn Abi Umayr 17 years ago. And this is where he will go to, selling his house where he lived for Ibn Abi Umayr. The man replies, no, I have sold my house where I lived to repay my debt to you. What do you think Ibn Abi Umayr done? Ibn Abi Umayr rejects to take the money and tells this man to cancel the selling contract. And he related the saying of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, prohibiting a creditor to force his debtor to sell his house. And he said, by Allah, at present, I am in need of each and every dirham. 1 dirham counts, but I cannot take a single dirham from this. Take this away. The more you read about this great man, the more you learn from his bright, shining biography. Indeed, a great worshipper, a jurist, and knowledgeable of 94 books compiled by him, firm and steadfast, who does not perform mudahana, a man of great patience, who bore the pain of torture in the prison and did not fall weak, pious, who did not attach himself to this dunya and its ornaments. During the years of his imprisonment, Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr's sister, either Minna or Sa'ida bint Abi Umayr, which were both muhaddithat, transmitters of hadith, hid her brother's books in the basement because keeping the hadith of Al-Muhammad, peace be upon them, was considered a crime at the time. Keeping the hadith of the progeny of the prophets is considered a crime. And as a result, the books were damaged due to rain. The loss of Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr's books contributed to the loss of many of the known 400 usuls, al-usul al-400. The primary 400 assets of the Shia, which only 16 have reached us today. And when Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr came to find out that most of his works and books were ruined and damaged due to rain, he started narrating a hadith to us from his remembrance. And this is why most of what Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr narrates is mursal, which without a chain of narration. However, all of the early scholars, such as 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗕𝗘, Shaykh al-Mufid, and all of the scholars have consensed his reliability and trustworthiness in narrating hadith. As many ahadith were classified into our books from the books of the opponents of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, and attributed to them falsely. A lot of the hadith were mixed up. Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr contributed to eliminate this. He abstained from narrating on the authorities of the opponents of Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them, in an endeavor to eliminate the ahadith from getting mixed and attributed to the Imams falsely, peace be upon them. Narrated to us from Abu Muhammad al-Fadl ibn Shadhan. My father asked Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr, you have met the scholars of the Amma, the non-Shia. How come you have not heard from their narrations? Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr replies, I have heard their narrations. However, I have seen many of our companions who have heard from the Khassa, which are the Shia, and the Amma, and hence became confused and started narrating the ahadith of the Amma and attributing it to the Khassa, and vice versa. And I disliked to fall into this confusion myself. Thus, I have abstained from this, which is narrating ahadith of the Amma. This is one of the reasons why Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr is classified as a trustworthy companion of Imam al-Kadhim and Rida, peace be upon them. You will see his name within the 18 of Rijal al-Sahih. 18 men, you'll see his name amongst these 18 men. If you see a hadith that in the chain of narrations it says Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr, you will accept it immediately. Because of this that I just mentioned, where he has abstained himself from falling into confusion, such as narrating hadith from the Ammah. May Muhammad ibn Abi Umayr rest in the gardens of delights, where the peace and provision of Allah encompass him.
وبآل الرسول هدانا ننشر السلام في الأرجاء